All right, we are recording live. Well, we're not recording live, but we're recording to the cloud. Peace and love, everybody. It is Friday, so-called February 26th. I am Corey Bey, and this is the second episode of Chopping It Up. I'll allow you to introduce yourself, brother.
I'm Malik Bey, doing business as Hayden Dugan.
Yes, and we are here, like I said, for the second episode of Chopping It Up. And we're going to go in today on, I guess, people making excuses, right? We went in on cheat days last time. This week, this episode, we're just going to chat about, the bullshit excuses. Let's just keep it real. Let's just keep it up front. Bullshit excuses. One of them being, what was it you said? Just because we're dealing with this
health crisis.
Yeah, this situation that has people's altering their moves, whether they're in fear to come out the house or in fear to go into institutions and share space and air with people. That being the case, you don't have to allow that to be an excuse for you to not stay healthy, to follow a wellness program, a fitness program, or anything like that, because it's really not an excuse, right? I mean, you want to tap onto that at all?
Sure. I mean, I guess I was just going to say, even thinking as you were talking and listening at the same time, sort of like what usually, like when people go to college per se, is that, oh, you're going to gain that freshman 15, and then there was this quarantine 15, or these little cute rhymes or phrases just to kind of make it okay to just I guess abandon your habits. Not even about the weight. Just abandoning the habits that you had, and that gain is a result of the abandoning of the habits or whatnot. So it's that, right? That mindset, right? It's
right.
I'm working on a post, right, for IG page or whatnot. Probably come out later today, but just in the sense of like Mamba mentality, right? What it was is a mindset of hard work out, beating out talent and putting that work in no matter what. Wasn't like this dude's like, oh, I mean, for instance, if he broke his shooting hand, right? Dude wasn't just like, I'm not going to practice no more. He's like, no, let me practice shooting with my left hand. Let me work on these alternative things. So there was a way to say, okay, let me continue to work on parts of my game, or right, in some instances, other parts of my fitness, and not right if I'm not able to have access via whatever to the gym and do chest press. Maybe I'm doing push-ups or something of that nature at home. But to just say, oh, well, can't do anything about that is an easy opt-out, I guess, in my opinion. And then if you want something that bad, right, you'll find a way to make it happen or whatnot.
Indeed. If you want something to happen, you will find a way to make that happen. I like that. One of the things that I definitely want to tap into is, you said mindset, right? I think that's really key, because the mind state and mindset is, I mean, let's just think about that word for a minute. Your mind, we already know, everything starts with the mind, right? What you think, you create, you know what I'm saying, through your conscious and subconscious mind, and doing what you do. Now, when you set that to something, then you're setting your mind to create the thing or get said outcome. So why don't we start to set our minds on our goals as opposed to making up bullshit excuses, you know what I'm saying, as to why we cannot reach them. I think it comes down to, all right, I'll step back for a minute. Like, I've been in this business since 2012, right? Didn't start off with one-on-one clients. I started off with teaching classes in yoga. So I guess my first year, we can scratch out that first year. So let's just say 7 years of actually working with people one-on-one. Any type of coaching, training, anybody that's dealt with that, you'll quickly learn that what people want or claim they want is a lot of times out of sync with their mindset. It's out of sync with the actions that they're taking to create the outcome. And that's because they haven't adjusted their mindset. So in my experience, honestly, I can come up with programs all day for you to stretch, lengthen muscles, correct your muscle imbalances, strengthen yourself, create this new aesthetic physique, all that shit. But it don't matter if your mind isn't in the right place. And I found myself in the past 7 years spending more time with that mental coaching aspect, or I will say maybe the word isn't spending more time with it, but I would say spending more time noticing that is the core of the issue that needs to be tackled. You feel me? Versus like what the program is or XYZ. So trying to come back to the point, as I don't know if you know, I'm kind of setting up. I got the IG live going, so just trying to give them a preview. Just trying to get, get some more views. But with that being said, it's no reason in our current world, even though there's a lot of so-called opposition, about to go off this bullshit, even though it's so-called opposition for people doing what they do, no gym is no excuse to not have a fitness routine. You know what I'm saying? It's definitely not an excuse to stop your yoga practice because you can't go and be in a studio with a bunch of other stinky, sweaty people. You feel me? Same difference for if you are really trying to focus on a new diet plan, right? A new healthy eating habits. I mean, it's definitely no excuses because you can't go to a gym or what have you, or because you can't physically maybe meet up with your nutritional therapist or coach. There's no excuses. So it comes back to your mindset. It comes back to making a commitment to yourself and having the discipline to stick to it. And I think that's where we come into play, because as coaches, right? Because what we can do is help hold people accountable, give them plans of action, you know what I'm saying? And assist them with reaching those goals when they have their opposition along the way and things that come up interpersonally. However, at the end of the day, it still comes down to them being disciplined enough to do the actual work, right?
Correct.
You know what I mean? So it's kind of like a 360, because last time the focus was cheat meals. However, it still came to foundational principle being your mindset, right? Yeah. Like what you really are going to focus on. So it's almost like lying to yourself and making an excuse of the gym not being open, or you not being motivated to go work out today, or sit there and meditate today. You know what I'm saying? I don't want people to think we're just one dimensional with this. I don't care if it's breathing practice, if it's a healthy eating practice, if it's a healthy movement practice that you want to call fitness or yoga. It's all about bettering yourself. So if you really want to better yourself, why are you lying to yourself? That's kind of where I'm at with a lot of my clients these days. They're like, oh, this guy's kind of an asshole, because it's like, yo, you're at a point that you came to me and you said you want to create XYZ, and then you're like, well, I didn't get up and do that today because I didn't have the time. All right, maybe you mismanaged your time today. That's something we can work on. Oh yeah, don't worry. I'll make sure I do your workout in the morning. Hold up. Hit the brakes. You're gonna do whose workout? Time out. You're not doing my workout. You're doing your workout. You're doing what you asked me to sit down and put a plan of action together for you to actually cultivate this new lifestyle change that you want for yourself. Why are you not owning it? Why are you not taking responsibility for it and owning it? And honestly, I know why you're not owning it, because you want to find a way to dodge the accountability of you actually getting what you want. You want to be able to take a step back and kind of be like, oh well, what I tried working with them and it didn't work. No, motherfucker, you didn't work. Like, period. Like, we sat down, we put it together, we put the plan. You didn't do the work, period. So mindset is key. When it comes to any personal development, it's always going to come back to your mindset, and this personal development stuff is not easy, folks. It's not. It's work. It really is work, because you're changing your habits. You're changing the things that don't work for you. So in order to do that, it gets uncomfortable. But it's like, if you really want it, then you just got to do it. Because I tell you what, if there's a comfortable piece of cake and you think you want to eat that joint, like, you're gonna find a way to get yourself some cake, right? So it's like people try to make it seem like it's so much easier to do the bad habit type of energy, when that's not necessarily the case. It's almost like y'all need to stop giving up on yourselves. You know what I'm saying? Because we are here to assist you. We are here trying to do good work to help you kind of brush some of the dust off yourself so you can shine again. You know what I mean? That's it, yo. Like, I'll speak for myself. Like, the work that I do, all I'm doing is trying to help you get to where you say you need to be. And at the end of the day, my principle is really like a namaste type principle. Like, I see the divine being within you, that, you know what I'm saying, and vice versa. So like, all I'm trying to do is to help support that. You know what I mean? So that you can be the best version of yourself. And if you don't want to do that work, that comes back to your mindset, and that's like, you know, at the position we in right now, it's like, I don't think we really attract those type of clients anyway. But you know, we've been there. You know what I'm saying? I yield on that note, bro. I know I've been.
Go have it together. Get that together real quick. But no, even like you said though, mindset. I think it's a big thing too, though. I feel.
Hold on, I want to pause that thought real quick, just because I want to let these people know. Yeah, peace and love, everybody that's on the IG live. What I'm doing right now is just giving y'all a preview of this YouTube we're recording. So we're gonna post the YouTube up later, and then y'all can digest that. But you know how this social media stuff is. We trying to get the ball rolling with this chopping it up. So we're doing chopping it up episode 2, and catch that YouTube later, because this IG is live is going to cut shortly. But I yield, bro, and I'll let you go.
Indeed, no, all good. I was gonna say as well though, right? Going back to mindset, and not to all, but too many, enough that I cringe internally is what nutrition, fitness, personal trainer, nutritionist, etc., yoga instructor. These are things that are looked at in my viewpoint, right? Not going to speak for myself, as a luxury. when for me personally, I see it as a first line of my healthcare, period, right?
Indeed.
No shade, no knock against, doctors, nurses, anything else. They definitely have their time and place when need be. But the first thing shouldn't, in my humble opinion, be to run to them with, where you're going to get a pharmaceutical prescription or, those type of recommendations. And maybe, right, you're what it'd be different if you say, well, you know what, I'm doing everything out, I'm working out, doing what I can, I'm on a little plan, I'm eating, better and making conscious decisions in that way, where it's more so like, oh, let me go to them first and then I'll take this, and like a little fix, like a little patch, right, like a little temporary fix. Case in point, right, you get a flat on a tire or something, you're like, oh, let me just patch it up real quick. Okay, cool. Well, eventually the air or what is probably going to start leaking out again later, and what you're going to say, yo, refill me out with another patch. No, you might as well, right, change that tire, get a new one, so you can be what, starting that reset, right? Everybody's talking about reset and things to that, back to mindset. Reset your viewpoint on things, right? Oh, let me address this nutrition, let me address this fitness, right? Let me start to take it serious, give it some time, right? Nothing happens overnight. And then say, okay, how do I feel? Is this making a difference for me? Do I feel the differences? Do I feel better via energy and everything else combined or whatnot? But it's sort of, to me in general, it's like this bristle, like, oh, well, I could do it. It's like, okay, well, I don't necessarily see that right now, or people, having that commitment in that way or whatnot. That's why for me, it's like, it's tough, because I'm like, shit, everybody don't think like this. I'm like, well, I guess not. Otherwise, I wouldn't have this position. But for me, I'm like, it's just what I do. It's not, oh, well, oh man, oh man, I did this, I did that, or now I don't feel well, right? Doesn't mean to say I didn't have those growing pains before, but now I'm like, I've been to the mountaintop and I want to stay there, right? It's for those people in the sense of, it's like winning a championship or something. You're like, I got there once, I want to get back there again. Well, it's easy for anybody to, not gonna say easy, but it's relatively a little bit more easier for somebody to maybe get there once or something, right? It's another thing when you're like, staying at the top of your game, and even from there, elevating and keep going, right? Rising, 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 where you're distancing yourself from the pack, and then you got dudes where you're like, this guy's the greatest of all time. Don't mean that we playing sports or nothing, but ideally you would want to be the best version of yourself possible without question, and not leave it to chance. Well, did I do everything in my power to put myself in the best position to be successful, or am I like, well, I'm kind of lacking in these areas a little bit. So back to that mindset and really taking heed of that, and seeing those things as a necessity, that it's your, to me, right, your first line of healthcare. Your
Agreed.
first line of healthcare.
Agreed.
And so,
And I
no, you got it.
was just gonna say, I think some of those folks tuning in on IG agree as well.
Yeah.
I'm just letting them know. Yeah, y'all can catch the rest of this dialogue on our YouTube. Will be posted later. You'll see the link in my story and on my Instagram post. I thank y'all for tuning in. Peace and love. Oh, also that was my brother Malik Bey. You can follow him at Aurum Nutrition, and I just posted that in the chat. So go ahead and follow him on Instagram. All right. Peace, 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 y'all. All right. Yes. So share that to IGTV. Yeah, we recording this live and direct, no edits. So y'all gonna get this pause for a moment. That's how it is, bro. Like, I've been watching like a lot of content creators, you know what I'm saying, trying to get some ideas on where we're going with all this. And it's like, you already know, like the brother Kevin, he don't make us pause and tell y'all to get the likes up.
Not
I
be
need to see
playing.
some more likes. I'm gonna start playing Abandoned in the background.
Seriously, I was like, oh snap, this dude really don't play. Oh.
So what you were saying though is, and what I heard is something that I've thought about, and we haven't really talked about it since you've kind of been in this field, but I think we've talked about it in general, is that like preventative wellness versus healthcare. Unfortunately, we already know that's the conditioning of the people, right? To have that mindset. Once again, we're back to the mindset where we're going to go to these persons of authority that are called doctors. I'm not knocking them because they're all type of doctors, right?
Yeah.
But in general, the people are conditioned to really go to folks that kind of do patchwork. You know what I'm saying? Like you said earlier, it's like we didn't get to the root of the problem. We just patched it up for now. And at the end of the day, it's like a lot of us probably could have did some preventative work ahead of time. You know what I mean? Before we even got to the point where we're having to seek now some other form of remedy, and then that form of remedy is not even getting to the source of the problem. You're just kind of putting a Band-Aid on it and hoping that it doesn't hurt again. So yeah, I mean, it's I'm really kind of internally laughing right now because my mind still brings everything back to your mindset. You know what I mean? It's like I feel like every chopping it up is gonna be this is gonna be me saying, yo, it's about your mindset, yo. Like get your thought patterns right. Like just acknowledge, all right, here's the thing. We've been conditioned really to just be worker bees in society. A lot of us are not brought up knowing how we work. And I mean, just you as even, okay, now you're more than just a physical body, right? Because it's another thing I talk about with everybody, your mind, body, and the breath, right? So you're at least a trinity, right? But if we just tune into the physical body for a moment, I kind of lost my train of thought. But I'm gonna pick it up. If you just tap into just the work on the physical body, it's important to recognize that, damn, I really did lose that train of thought, yo. I tried to pick it up. What was I saying right before the whole Trinity thing?
We were talking about the worker bees and being essentially set up, people being set up that way. And
yes, thank you. Okay, so even on the physical level, right? Again, we are a trinity at least, but even on the base physical level, we are not taught how we work. We're not really taught how this physical body works. We're taught to work it. You know what I'm saying? We're taught to make it do things, but we're not really taught how to maintain it, how to get the most out of it, right? How to properly, fuel it, your nutrition. And a lot of us don't even know how to properly move. I'm one of those people. Like, a lot of people may not know, but I started this journey in health and wellness. It began from an injury. So it began from my lack of proper body mechanics. So I didn't know how to move, hence core movement, because I finally know how to fucking move. You feel me? And it's like, oh, I figured out how to move. Now I want to help other people move. And it became more than just a physical thing. But my point is, that's where it started. And if, again, a lot of times we got to start there. We got to start with what you are, what you eat, right? So what are we putting in this body in order to cause it to get XYZ outcome? You know what I'm saying? And then is what we're fueling it, what it needs to do what we're challenging it to do. Just this basic shit, yo. It's like people don't think about that stuff. So again, back to this. If you're not thinking about what you're doing, if you're not living with purpose, then oftentimes you're moving very unconsciously, and that's not really living. It's not. It's just you kind of just like Fuck it. You zombie. You Walking Dead. So that kind of got off I guess the topic, right? Because we're supposed to be talking about not having excuses, you know what I'm saying, of sticking to your routine or what have you. But I yield, bro. Look like you got something you want to add.
No, you're good. I was just gonna say, but even in, like you said, on the people 9 to 5 or whatnot, like I know, well, doing business at a gym or whatnot, some people come in and some or one in particular I see, and she usually it's like, yo, coming in or a little later or whatever the case may be. So just for her, it seems from my vantage point that I got to get my workout in or whatnot, or whether that's a stress reliever or whatever it is for her, right? Because it's like, yo, usually, as you said, people are usually sitting down for about 8 hours a day, uh, eventually getting stressed, right, over meeting a deadline or some type of, a call they're on or something of that nature.
Not eventually. They woke up stressed because they had to go to that bitch in the first place. I yield.
Yeah. And what they probably had interesting sleep or something like that, right? Or woke up already tired or not even refreshed to take on the day, as opposed to like a cell phone battery, right? You're like, oh, I forgot to put my phone on the charger last night, and it was at 50 when I went to sleep, and now I woke up and it said 25. So it's like you're like, yo, I gotta work with that for the rest of the day, and then it just starts to get depleted. So it really is a cycle. Literally. I know people think, right, recycle, like, oh, I'm taking this paper, aluminum, or whatever, and putting it outside for them, the trash people to collect or recycle. It's literally like that with oneself or whatnot, even in the habits that they have and form and continue to do over time that lead them usually in one direction or another. Usually positive or negative, and then sometimes you may have the neutral, but still, I mean, it's it's just because of what that mindset, that wanting to buy in, like if we invest, right, people may want to invest in so many things, but they're forgetting to invest in self, because without self, right, you're not going to be able to do that job properly. If you're not able to do that job, you're not going to be able to provide for your family or whatever the case may be. So right, when it literally is just a flow and it just keeps cascading. And so it's like, yo, if you don't address self, then the world's going to keep moving, but the things around you are going to suffer injury, whether it be financially, physically, right, emotionally, all these different levels, just because of essentially starting with self and not investing in yourself and doing things to get yourself right. So it's like, yo, I mean, how many people you have that you see the check engine light come on, and you're just like, yo, I'm just gonna keep driving on this joint until the wheels fall off. Like, I ain't got no time to do nothing with it. Then it turns into something that might have been relatively minor into a big deal, and it's gonna cost you these X amount of notes or whatnot. And you're like, oh man, now I gotta get this massive thing done, or whatever the case may be. That really started as a minor thing, but because you never took the time to address it, right? Now you're like, now what? Again, right? Starting with that recycle, now I'm even more stressed because I got this and I got that, and I got bills and I got this. And it's like, yo, taking that time for self and seeing self as the most important thing to invest in, get those dividends out of, right? Everything else. If you don't have that, then what do you have?
Word.
If you have all those great, and I'll yield after this, all those great possessions, right? those you Saint Laurent this and Gucci and Prada and everything else. Hey, if you can afford it, great, go for it. Maybe you might want to take care of yourself as well. But if you're just like, yo, it's this or that, and you're choosing that, and you're not feeling well, I mean, you reevaluate what's important to you in your life, and you're not even valuing yourself. You're valuing these material possessions and brand names over that.
They value the brands. They value the brands. It's so backwards. They value a brand that is someone else's brand. So you take pride in whatever you exchange your energy for. You exchange your energy for finance, right? So you've accumulated X amount of finance, and now you see the value in taking that, all this energy. You can't get time back. So we trade our time for finance often. So all this energy and time you've spent to get the finance, you take that and you see the values in the brand and usually someone else's name. Yo, the mindset is crazy. Like, these people are fucking crazy. I don't care. Like, you comment if you don't like that shit. But guess what? Y'all motherfuckers is crazy. Yo. Like, because it's just time to be honest with the people, man. It's really time, like, all right. I'm an astrologer, right? I study astrology. I know that things happen in cycles. It's funny because you said that word a bunch of times, which that already started triggering astrology in my mind. And everything has cycles, right? I'm not going to get into too much astrology, but I will say that we are creatures of habit, like you mentioned, right? We are creatures of habit. I believe it takes 21 days to change a habit or to train your mind to shift that cycle. You follow what I'm saying? Because like you said, it's been a cycle. It's a mindset. It repeats, it repeats, it repeats. So, studies say it takes about 21 days to a month, you know what I'm saying, to change that cycle in your mind, to start develop another pattern, another pattern for you to now be on. You're setting your mind to a different pattern. So now you can start to see the results that are in alignment with this new pattern of thinking, doing, being, etc. Right? Therefore, we are all the sum total of all our choices prior to this moment. Period. I don't care how many cycles you've been around the sun, you are, unless you're still in care of your parents, you feel me? Because they're responsible for you. You likely aren't conscious enough to, you know what I'm saying. But outside of that, we are responsible for ourselves. The world doesn't owe us no fucking pity party for the choices that we've made. Period. So, again, I think all this comes back, like you said earlier, people just, maybe they don't think like us or whatever, and all that's fine and dandy. I'm not saying everybody has to think like us. That's cool. But sometimes things seem so simple to us. And what seems simple to me, and I'll say it again, is that, one, we don't know how we work. So let's start to take the time and step back and figure out how's this physical body work? How's the mind work? How's the subconscious mind work? How do these things all play out in this reality? I'm not gonna get too metaphysical either, but at the end of the day, that's really what we're dealing with. And we are so conditioned to abandon examining our nature, to then commit to something that's really unnatural, right? Because there may be some people out in this world that like to get up and work 8 hours a day. I'm not one of them. I don't know too many people that love that shit. So I'm going to vote that that's kind of unnatural, especially since we only have 24 hours in a degree or day. So if you look at the mathematics of it, what we got 8 hours of supposed to be 8 hours of sleep.
Yeah.
Right. Right. That's what's healthy. Then 8 hours of work. Right. So that's 16 hours. Right. Right. So let's say 17, 18. We're going to add another 2 hours to that 8 hour work day because you had to get to and from work. Right. So where we at 18 hours, right? I said 18, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. You have 6 hours to live a fucking day. You have 6 hours to do based off that, based off that simple, just you have 6 hours, yo, outside of whatever days off you have. We're conditioned to be in that mindset, like I said, of like worker bees and shit. If you could just start taking some of those 6 hours you got plus your off days and start to take time with yourself instead of trying to numb your pain because you live an unhealthy lifestyle. And then let's I mean, I'm not going to pull up the statistics right now, but I think it's safe to say that most people are numbing themselves some type of way when they do have this off time. You know what I'm saying? Be it whatever, drugs, alcohol, whatever, even other types of quote unquote addictions. They're trying to escape this reality. And that's something that we we really need to start taking that seriously. We really need to ask ourselves, like, why does the majority of society, when they have time to themselves, they're trying to escape the rest of their life, yo? And it's just like, you again, I know, some people don't think about these things, but if you just stop for a moment, stop. Maybe you can't jump out the rat race yet, but stop for a moment, yo. Just pump the brakes and recognize what the fuck is going on around you. And then maybe you start to make some adjustments. Maybe you start to take some time to breathe. Maybe then you'll see the value in that self-care. You know what I'm saying? Because one of the things that I'll try to talk out with my clients is like, what's your why, right? What's your reason that this is important to you? So I guess what I'm alluding to with taking that pause from the quote unquote rat races, maybe then you'll find a reason why, okay, I should go work out. I should change my diet. I should have a regular meditation practice. I yield on that.
While you were saying that, right? So I looked up the etymology of mindset, right? And so it's the habits of minds. Oh, I'm sorry. Habits of mind formed by previous experience, right? Um, so even right as it comes to that, and you were talking about the 6 hours that you have left in a day, and you would think usually, right, somebody's gonna watch television or something of that nature. Um, um, even right there. I mean, sure, maybe don't watch TV as much, but having said that, who's really doing push-ups or some type of exercise in between those commercial breaks when the show's like, let's be real with ourselves, right?
Right.
So you got the time right there for somebody to say, I don't have the time. No, you don't want to, or right. So that's something entirely different. But you have the time. If you're sitting
Indeed.
there watching that show or whatever the case may be, right? Commercial break, 2-3 minutes, something like that. Boom, I could get something done. Whether I just want to sit up and down in my chair, replicating squats or something, or whatever the case may be. But it's something that I could be doing, right? For me, I'm like, yo, if it's nighttime and I'm like, yo, I'm watching something, all right, I'll get up and wash the dishes during, in between or whatever, something like that. So by the time that show goes off, cool. I'm ready to go upstairs, go to sleep, and I still got to do dishes. Duh, 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 duh. So then it's like, yo, all right, you got those 6 hours. Boom, maybe in an hour in between that show, you say what? the show's 45 minutes long. You basically giving yourself usually because an hour show really is about 45 minutes, something like that. It's about 15 minutes worth of like commercials or something. So you
Mhm.
at least gotten in 15 minutes of exercise that you would have not done just by just continuing to stay on the couch or the bed or whatever and not done.
Mhm.
And so while that may not seem like a lot, it's a good start for someone, right? Even if they're not like, I don't want to do all this. Well, okay, now I'm doing 15 minutes a day versus I was doing zero and giving you whatever in any and every type of excuse of why I couldn't, right? So it's
All excuses.
yeah. That's what I'm saying. It's just like, yo, so if you can't even put 15 minutes to it, then it's like, forget about it. I mean,
Indeed.
even, stuff now, it's like, yo, put this thing on your face, this claw. Oh, if you care about me, you care about us, but people still go into fast food joints and people still go into fast food joints. It's like, yo, so, and then what do they say? You usually recommend, oh, getting exercise or doing, eating better or whatever, even though they still keep the fast food joints open, but whatever. But it's still people's choice, their decision to make. So
Yeah.
again, right? It's like the don't don't tell me, show me. Oh, I'm making these changes. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. All right, are you? Like, did you make that tonight, or did you order that? And if you did order it, was for it from a half decent place, and did you make a half decent selection? Like, back to
Indeed.
those it comes back to that, and those habits, right, they add up over time, no different than if we're studying for an exam or some material that we need to know, and what are we doing every day or x amount of times a week? We're putting some time away to work on that. So then after a month, 3 months, 6 months, etc., now you feel right, just educationally for what it is that you need to know. Oh, okay, I feel better prepared now to take that uh exam or take that, yeah, pass whatever it is, whatever I need to take to pass that or whatnot, that test or whatever the case may be. I'm ready to, take that and pass it because I know I put in the time in over time, not just in one day, right? Like I
Right.
with some people too, and I don't personal train, but something they're like, yo, let me team up with you or whatever. Cool. Let's not go super duper heavy. So then tomorrow you're like, oh, well, I'm sore. I don't want. Dude, that's not the point. The point is for you to be in here over time, not
Yeah.
just today. So it's like, yo, take that same type of mindset. So you look at those 15 minutes, what, 5 days out the week, you like, all right, what? That's a what, hour 15 minutes now of just if you're saying you're doing that whole 15 minutes for 5 days out the week type tip,
Right.
it's
Right.
an hour, yeah, 15 minutes now in
Yeah.
that week that you can say, okay, I did something fitness or exercise wise.
It's a
Cool.
start.
Yeah. And then you build from that. But it's, and over time, right, then you'll see those numbers accumulate, like the compound effect. So it's again, and that's investing in yourself, which is really what everything else flows off of. And
Hmm.
that's the critical point that gets missed, that I get frustrated with, and it's just for people to see the light themselves or whatnot.
That's the critical. That's what frustrates you. That's the critical point.
What?
That's what I'm asking. What's the critical point exactly? What?
Oh, of them just not seeing the value in their own health.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
The news doesn't say, yo, man, today Susie J worked out for 30 minutes and she said she felt good and and was drinking some water in between. Whatever, right? It's no, let's tell you about the shooting, the murder, the this, the that.
Yeah.
Okay, here's sports. Um, like, and that's it. So it's just that negative feedback loop instead of all right. And again, one has to make their own decision to watch or not watch that or how much they consume, but
Mm-hmm.
right, they're not telling you, oh man, don't be worried about this and work out, get some exercise, get outside. Is get the needle. I you.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, you're right. And I mean that's where, unfortunately, like you touched on way earlier, what the type of services we provide are looked at as like a luxury, right? When
Yes.
it should be foundational to be preventative instead of having it's going to cost you more on the back end than it is on the front end. You know what I'm saying? Um, and what I say by that, what I mean by that is like, you know, like the brother said, if you allow something little to become now something huge and you have to deal with it on the back end, it's going to be a way bigger issue that you have to deal with now. Um, so that being said, unfortunately, people don't see the value in themselves. So they don't see the value in this preventative wellness. And it's just unfortunate. It's a very unfortunate situation. But you know, the services that we provide are for those that are ready to take that step, take themselves on, and to create that healthy lifestyle. I mean, that's really it. You know, and like you said, just kind of camel backing off what you said, bro. We often make excuses. This is how I see it. People like to make excuses so that it writes them out of the story. Like they like to say, "Oh, this dude's fit. He must have been working out all his life. He must have came out the womb fucking buff." You feel me? Like, no. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh shit, I could never do that because blase blah. Like, shit. What is it? 8? Uh, 8? No, less than that. 20. I don't know. Less than 10 years ago, I can't do the math right now, but less than 10 years ago, I woke up, I couldn't stand the fuck up. It's way different. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like people like to assume that what you've obtained for yourself is outside of what they can obtain.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And I like what you said as far as like not getting overwhelmed and saying you're going to jump into something and like drowning because you did too much too quick. Like you don't have to do that because you can start small and you can, like we said, like you looked at the etymology of the word mindset. You can start small and train yourself, right? To develop these healthy patterns. Over time, you set those building blocks, you set the foundation, and you grow from there. A lot of what you said is interesting because there are some foundational things that are akin to personal training because it's repetitions. It's just reps. It's reps. It's reps. It's like whether it's, you know, like you said, that repetition, that repetitiveness, right? That creating that new habit in your mind, right? And in your body, right? To now see a different result. Be it at 15 minutes to get up and do some squats in between watching your favorite show, or 10 to 15 minutes of meditation in the beginning of your day or end of your day, or whatever other healthy habit that you're cultivating for yourself. You don't have to jump into into the deep end, the 12 foot, and you don't know how to swim and shit. Like there's so many options out there, not just what we provide, right? There's so many options these days. Sometimes a little too many, a little quirky, weird shit, but there are a lot of options for a lot of people. It's almost like the way I look at this health and wellness thing, there's something for everybody because everybody doesn't like every style of exercise or style of meditation or whatever. That's cool. Find what works for you and commit to something. Commit to, a week, a month of developing this healthy habit, because over time, it's just like a repetition. You're going to develop that strength. You're going to develop that muscle. You're going to develop that commitment. You know what I'm saying? Even that level of being able to commit to yourself. instead of committing to, that dollar, that finance, that job. Because really, that at the end of the day, or that fast food, or that Starbucks that's full of all this shit calories, like, that's it. It comes down to committing to yourself versus a lot of these things that you're sold on, that you bought into. But at the end of the day, you have more commitments to these things that are not serving you than you do to yourself. And oftentimes, again, like you said, that comes to not seeing the value of the work, the wellness work, the preventative work, and just being really addicted to all that other shit. So I don't know. Maybe that's what we should go in on next episode: addictions, because people often think addictions is just drugs and all this, like black market shit. Like, no, you be addicted to hamburgers, be addicted to French fries. You know what I'm saying? Like, just because it's available easily, or even at your corner store or grocery store, doesn't mean that you don't have an addiction to it. So again, developing healthy habits and supporting that through repetition. Yeah, there's no excuses. If you don't have a gym, if you don't have a this, you don't have a that, it's like you can start working out even just in the home. Just with, you don't even have to have any equipment really. You can do all body weight exercises. Excuse me. So if you want to talk more about that, contact me. Contact us. You know what I'm saying? We do offer custom training programs and a full 360 lifestyle, core 360 lifestyle coaching, where we actually do start from the foundation, which is what's been imprinted on you from when you came into this existence, or when you're quote unquote born, which would be your natal chart. And then we're going to go from there and develop a program to assist you to get the results that you want. And that's also going to include the nutritional therapist. You know what I'm saying? And if you have any addictions, we actually have counselors and social workers that are certified to like get a team to get past your bullshit and to help you reach this new version of yourself. But at the end of the day, even if you have a team, it's like, we're in your corner. You know what I'm saying? It's like, if you look at the boxing ring, like, we're in the corner. We're in the corner. We got you. We can give you what you need in that corner, but it's up to you to get out there in that ring and do the work. The hard work is that fight. And you know who that fight is with? It's actually with yourself. That's who you're in the ring with. You're in the ring with yourself, that lower version of yourself. You gotta become that higher version of yourself and beat the shit out the lower version of yourself, if you really want to make a difference. That's what it comes down to. I yield on that note, bro.
Indeed. No, I would agree with that.
We've been going for like 50 minutes, so I don't know if you want to wrap it up soon, because I think I'm kind of winded on the topic, honestly.
Yeah, we can wrap it up. It's all good. I think that was a good round two.
Indeed. And we'll get crisper with it, you know what I'm saying, as we continue on. But anybody that is tuning in, we probably should start saying this at the beginning, right? Press like the shit, share it. You know what I'm saying? If you don't like it, press dislike, because guess what? I want all the smoke. You feel me? At the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? Just engage with it. If you watched it, share it out. If you bang with it, like it. If you don't like it, click the dislike. Give us feedback. You know what I'm saying? Let us know if there's other topics you'd like for us to touch on. We want to be consistent with this and come at y'all weekly with some conversation. And as you heard, I had the Instagram live on earlier. Eventually, we'll figure out how to have this conversation and maybe have the option for people to, comment live, so we can address those comments as well. But please, folks, if you like what we're doing, if you don't like what we're doing, give us feedback, comment below, show us some love, or show us the hate, whatever. It's all energy. I know how to transmute that shit. On that note, I yield the floor. I thank you all for tuning in to episode 2 of Chopping It Up. No excuses. You know what I mean?
Right.
Anything you want to say, bro?
Pay the farmer now or pay the doctor later. And you could move the farmer in with the personal trainer, etc., etc., etc.
Indeed. Indeed. Again, we thank you all for your energy. We appreciate the feedback, and we'll see you next time. Peace and love.
Peace and love.
In recording.